Hello, hockey fans. Austin here, and welcome to the day after discussion between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. Last night was Game 2, and Florida came out with a 4-1 victory to take a 2-0 series lead in the Stanley Cup Finals over the Edmonton Oilers. And I think most people are talking about what happened on the ice that didn't directly result in any type of goals. We're talking the Bennett knee, the Foegele knee, the Draisaitl headshot on Barkov. So there's going to be a lot to discuss. I will get into all of that. Of course, if you are new to the channel and you want to see more content like this, you want to see more day after discussion videos, just make sure you hit like on the video today. And at the end of the video, if you ended up enjoying the discussion and, you were engaged and you had a good time here, make sure you hit subscribe as well. So, like I mentioned, there's going to be a lot to talk about. There was a lot that happened in the game last night, not only on the ice, but also off the ice with the fans. There's a lot of fan discourse, and I am going to discuss a lot of things with different fans that I interacted with last night. Normally, I have a great time interacting with fans, whether you're a Panthers fan, an Oilers fan, or a fan of another team that the Oilers played in the postseason, or just a neutral fan. Maybe you're cheering for, let's say, the Utah Hockey Club right now, and you've tuned in and you just like engaging, and I think that's great. However, last night was a little bit different. It was a little bit more heated than usual, so I am going to kind of discuss what kind of happened on my video last night. I am going to talk about a few comments in particular, and then of course I am definitely talking about what happened on the ice between the Oilers and Panthers, especially the dirty hits that we're starting to see now. These are two teams that clearly there is not a lot of love for each other, and they're doing what they think is right to try and win a Stanley Cup. And at the end of the day, I don't blame any player on either team for trying to gain an edge. As Brad Marchand said in round 2 when the Bruins were playing the Panthers, he said in his media scrum before he came back in the lineup, he said that players are always trying to injure each other. That's just how it is. You're trying to gain an edge and win a hockey game. You're trying to win the Stanley Cup. Do I agree with it? Absolutely not. So let's kind of get into the day after discussion here. So if you're new to the channel, basically how this works, I have all the talking points on the right side of the screen. I kind of go in order. I will have everything time-stamped, so if there's anything that you want to skip to, anything, if you want to pause the video and go back to any type of discussion that I talk about, I will have everything time-stamped, all the topics. That is, Florida leads the series 2-0. At the bottom of the screen, those are the Oilers' advanced metrics from last night from Natural Stat Trick in all situations. The Oilers lost 4-1, expected goals for of 27.60%, Corsi for percentage of 42.70%, high danger Corsi for of 9.10%. The Oilers had 0 high danger chances at 5-on-5 last night, and then scoring chances for 30%. So the Florida Panthers, obviously, they deserved to win the game. The Oilers bottom 6 went -2. The Oilers top 6 didn't produce a single goal. The only goal that the Oilers scored was from Ekholm. Not a single forward has actually scored a goal for Edmonton in this series. And if we're talking about the forwards as well, last night the Oilers had 3 shots on goal combined from forwards. You know how horrible that is? Do you know how horrible that is? Or 3 forwards, had shots on goal for Edmonton. Not 3 shots, but 3 forwards total had shots on goal for Edmonton last night. There were 12 forwards in the lineup for Edmonton, 11 after Foegele went out. That's completely unacceptable, but we will discuss all that. Our topics today, dirty hit / plays, the fan response, depth ? Stuart Skinner, dead PP, injury situation, the keys for game 3 for Edmonton, and of course, thank you at the end of the video like usual. So let's jump into it. Dirty hits and plays. Now, we all want to talk about the Draisaitl hit on Barkov, and I will do that. But I'm going to show video with that one too, because there is a lot to discuss with the Draisaitl hit. Early in the game, Sam Bennett, he went knee on knee with Evan Bouchard. Now, the ref called it tripping. There's some pundits that said it was more of a knee on shin, maybe, or a knee on like the thigh, and whatever the case is, I think Bennett tried to target the knee, probably didn't connect with it as much as he was hoping for. And I say hoping for, but this is Sam Bennett. I don't give that guy the benefit of the doubt at all. He threw a right hook on the side of McDavid's head in game 1. Of course, the infamous play on Marchand in round 2 with that right hand butt end of the stick into Marchand's temple that knocked him out for a couple of games. So anytime Sam Bennett is throwing hits of that nature, last night he went for Bouchard's knee. Luckily, Bouchard was not injured, and Bennett was called for a penalty. Now, I see a lot of fans, especially Oilers fans, being like, well, if Foegele got 5 minutes for his kneeing penalty, why didn't Bennett get 5 minutes? The difference is there was an injury. Luostarinen, he did come back pretty quickly, but he was in a lot of pain, and the officials do take injuries into consideration when they make calls on the ice. Whether you agree with that or not, I'm just saying that's usually how officials roll. Bouchard, no worse for wear. He got up right away. The ref called tripping. That's what that was. I think that was a fair call. I think the 5-minute major call on Warren Foegele was also warranted. I don't think Warren Foegele is going to get suspended. I think he's going to get a stern warning from the player safety, being like, could you please not stick your knee out next time? I did agree on the live stream last night. If you were tuning in, I did agree that Warren Fogel's knee on knee should have been a 5-minute major. I called it 5 minutes before they even reviewed the play. I was like, no, that's going to be a 5-minute major. And Warren Foegele was kicked out of the game. So Bennett, he deserved his penalty. Was it a 5-minute major? No. Warren Foegele, did he deserve his penalty? Yes. Was it a 5-minute major? Yes. I have no issues with those plays. Now, the big play last night, the big one here is Draisaitl on Barkov in the third period. And this one is really, really dirty for numerous reasons. And we're going to break it down. So I'm going to pull up the browser here. Now, I'm going to slowly press forward here, and I'm going to kind of break down what I'm seeing as an Oilers fan. And I'm going to be as neutral as possible, and I'm trying to see this from both sides. However, at the end of the day, I think Draisaitl is really in the wrong here. And as of the recording of this video, he has not been suspended. There is no word on whether he will be suspended. We'll talk about possible suspension after. So, Barkov, the puck is along the boards now. He's making a play. Look at his head's down. He's making a play on the puck. And Draisaitl, you see him come in on the left side of the screen here. You see him right here. Now, Draisaitl, he doesn't look down at the puck once. Look at him. His eyes, he's not making a play on the puck. He's going for the body all the way. Now, if he stays like this the whole way, if he just keeps his arms and his shoulder tucked like this the whole way, there's no issue, right? This is not an issue. However, you start to see him elevate a bit, and now watch that right elbow right at the last. Do you see that? Do you see how that lifts up at the last second? How he's throwing that up. Now, people are saying, oh, point of contact is, Barkov's chest, that sort of thing. What I see here is an elbow. Now, I don't know if you can really see it well here, but I'm going one frame at a time. Forward, you see Barkov's visor. Like, that's the impact right there. That's when impact is made. It is to his head. Draisaitl throws the elbow, and at no point does Draisaitl look at the puck to make a play on it. He's headhunting here. He's 100% headhunting. If this wasn't Leon Draisaitl, if this was Jacob Trouba, every hockey fan on the planet would be calling for a suspension. It's Leon Draisaitl. He doesn't usually throw elbows. Leon Draisaitl is notorious for whacking guys in the nuts. Cup checks, if you want to call it that. I don't agree with that either. That's what Draisaitl is notorious for, and reverse checking players. Draisaitl's not known for throwing elbows, but this is such a clear elbow and look at the impact, man. Now everyone's like, oh, Barkov sold it, blah, blah, blah. Barkov has had head injuries in the past. He didn't sell anything. The speed that Draisaitl comes in here, and he's elevating, and now it's hard to tell. He still has 1 foot on the ice here, but as he comes into Barkov, this is where he's off his feet. So contact's already been made. Everyone said that Draisaitl jumped into the hit. Technically, contact was made when he still had a foot on the ice. Again, it doesn't matter. Draisaitl comes in. Now, at this point in the game, it is a 1-goal game. At this point in the third period, it is a 2-1 lead for Florida. It is not 3-1 yet. This game is not out of reach. The Oilers, they were stringing together some shifts where, they might have been able to come back. All you need is 1 goal, a lucky bounce, whatever. Draisaitl had an opportunity to make a play on the puck, and he did not. He decided to target Sasha Barkov or Aleksander Barkov, and there's no defending this. Look at this elbow, man. His elbow's down the whole way until right at the last second, and he gets it up. And you look at the contact, side of the head, temple region, jaw. There's a lot of things that could be going on here with Barkov. It could be a jaw injury. It could be a head injury. Now, as someone that has had numerous head injuries in his life. I've had numerous concussions, some from sports, some from hockey, some from just general life situations where I just put myself in a dumb spot and end up hitting my head on something. That really bothers me. That bothers me because not only is it a dirty play, and it should have been a 5-minute major, by the way. That should have been a 5-minute major for an illegal check to the head, in my opinion. It was called a 2-minute penalty for roughing for some reason. The worst part about the officiating last night is they actually weren't even going to call a penalty there until Barkov was laying on the ice injured, and then the refs kind of convened and then went, okay, well, we'll give Draisaitl 2 minutes for roughing. There was initially going to be no call on that play, which is wild to me. Like, that is someone clearly targeting another player's head. And if you're an Oilers fan, you might be frustrated at my take here. Head injuries are no joke. Head injuries are no joke. I absolutely despise that play from Leon Draisaitl. I really hope Barkov is okay. I hope he's able to play game 3. Leon Draisaitl should have been a 5-minute major. If he were to be suspended for a game, I would not be surprised, and I would not be against it. Do I think he will be? Probably not. The precedent that NHL Department of Player Safety has put out is they've allowed Trouba to elbow guys in the head. They've allowed Bennett's headshot on Marchand to go unpunished. So if we're talking about what player safety has allowed, you might see a fine. You might see a stern warning, a little, oh, you, Leon, don't do that. And that might be it. If he were to be suspended, I can't say I would disagree with it. Leon Draisaitl, he is a leader in that locker room. He's someone that is relied on for Edmonton's offense on the power play and even strength. 2-1 game, late in the third period. There was no reason for that. And I'm mad as an Oilers fan, not because of the fact that, there was a penalty there. I'm mad because there was no reason for that. Barkov is someone that doesn't deserve to be hit in the head. Now, if that had happened, let's pretend let's say someone what if Verhaeghe did that to Connor McDavid? If Verhaeghe did that to Connor McDavid, oh my Lord, oil country would be burning to the ground right now. The whole city would be on fire. I'm sorry. I want teams to win the Stanley Cup. And is there going to be some nastiness here and there? Absolutely. But plays like that specifically, I'm not a fan of. And then the other thing that I wanted to point out as well was the chokehold from Ekblad on Evan Bouchard. This to me is I don't know. I don't want to say just as bad, but so Ekblad, and this isn't even near the play. This is after the whistle. There's no officials anywhere to break this up. Now, if you look at Ekblad here, he's using his stick. He's using his stick to kind of create a wedge. And he's got Bouchard in a chokehold. And look at Bouchard here. He's tapping out, and Ekblad does not respect the tap out. And I don't think people truly realize. I see people making memes about this. Oh, this is a visual representation of the Oilers choking in the Cup final and blah, blah, blah. That's not funny to me. I don't think people realize how dangerous chokeholds are. There is a reason why in MMA, refs immediately will jump in when a player taps out, and they prevent fighters from completely choking someone out 100% unconscious. You have to respect the tap. Bouchard gave him the tap. I did not like that play from Ekblad. I think if Draisaitl were to get suspended for a game for his headshot, Ekblad should be suspended right there. I don't even know what you would call that. Would you call that unsportsmanlike? Is there even a rule in the NHL rulebook for choking? That's a play right there. Did not like that at all from Ekblad. I think that is just as bad. There's a lot that can go wrong if you are... there's no safe way to choke somebody. There just isn't. And I'm not going to entertain anyone in the comment section trying to justify that play by Ekblad on Bouchard. There's absolutely no way. One of the most dangerous things I've seen in hockey. Bouchard is tapping out, and that clip is only a few seconds long, but that went on for almost 10 full seconds, 10, 15 seconds. So anyone that's trying to justify that play from Ekblad and Bouchard, absolutely not. Choking is so dangerous. There's so much that could have went wrong there with no officials in the vicinity to help Bouchard out. That could have went really, really south, really, really fast. So 1, I'm happy Bouchard's okay. 2, Ekblad, absolutely not. That is, to me, just as dangerous as the Draisaitl play. Did not like that at all. Panthers fans, you don't have to agree with me here. Oilers fans don't have to agree with me on the Draisaitl play. I think Ekblad and Draisaitl are both stupid, dumb idiots that should be sitting a game for what they did near the end of game 2. I'm just being honest here. There's no reason for that. I absolutely hate that. So When it comes to the other, dirty plays that have happened throughout this game, the series, Carrick, I think he gave someone a cup check, a bit of a nut shot. And again, I don't agree with this stuff. Those are plays that aren't going to be suspended or suspensions, but it's the chokehold on Bouchard and the headshot on Barkov that player safety needs to crack down on as quickly as possible. If there is no Department of Player Safety response here for those plays, I am incredibly concerned as not just an Oilers fan, but as a hockey fan going into Game 3, because what the heck is going to happen in Game 3 with regards to the star players on both teams? The NHL's got to send a message here. Otherwise, it's open season, and I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that at all. I don't want this Stanley Cup to be awarded to two teams that are just gooning it up right now. Like, I don't like it personally, but that's kind of my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments, and we'll kind of just move on here. Next topic here is the fan response. So yes, I did mention in my intro the fan response last night on my post-game reaction. I had a lot of fans very upset that, I didn't call out Draisaitl's hit enough. I had fans upset at the officiating. Oilers fans mad at the officiating. Panthers fans mad at the officiating. Both fan bases seem to think that the NHL is favoring them right now. What this proves is that NHL officiating is trash, and it always has been, and it always will be. So I don't really talk about officiating on my channel because there's no point. We know how bad it is. We saw how inconsistent it was last night. Officiating did not lose the Oilers the game. The Florida Panthers played a better game, and they deserved to win. The Oilers had 4 power plays, and they went 0 for 4 on their power play opportunities. That is not on the officials last night. Did they miss calls? Absolutely. Did they make the wrong calls on a few plays? Absolutely. Did not determine the outcome of the game. But there's something I want to mention when it comes to fan response. Now, as my channel has grown, we are almost at 3,000 subscribers. Obviously, the more the channel grows, the more exposure fans will have, the more exposure I have to fans of other teams and more fans. And the channel has really popped off throughout the postseason. And I'd say 99.5% of fans that I've interacted with have been really, really good to interact with. Positive people, people that, have hockey takes that I don't agree with, but we can engage in good faith. Last night was so heated that there was no reasoning with anybody. There was no reasoning with Oilers fans. There was no reasoning with Panthers fans. And I'm not sure how many of you realize this who are watching right now. When you comment on a video, I can click on your name and I can see every comment that you've ever made on my channel and any video that you've made, if you've commented before. And last night, I saw a lot of comments that were shit disturbing from people that haven't commented anything on my channel since the Canucks series. And I'm not saying that this is a Canucks fan thing, but I am saying that, I had a people from the Kings series comment last night that haven't commented anything since the Kings series. I had a few people commenting from games in the regular season against other teams that the Oilers played that the Oilers have not even gone near in the postseason. So the game last night brought out a lot of fans from a lot of different teams for a lot of different reasons. And I don't want to say that I'm mad or upset at what happened on my video last night, but I will say that I'm always willing to engage with the fans. I think fan engagement is good. Whether it's negative or positive, I take feedback very constructively. I take it seriously. I try and do my best to roll with the punches. I deal really well with criticism. I've had a lot of criticism throughout the postseason from a lot of different fans, whether you're an Oilers fan or not. Last night, though, was a little bit different. It felt like there were fans of some teams that were jumping in and just trying to create an issue out of non-issues. Trying to just stir the pot, trying to rile people up. Now, listen, it's hockey. It's online content creation. There's going to be trolls. There's going to be people that like to just, disturb the peace. I get that. I used to be like that. So if you were one of those fans, if I seemed intense last night, if I seemed mad, if I seemed, like I was combative, I just want to, one, apologize. That's not usually how I am. I think last night, for the first time in a long time, Maybe the first time ever on my channel. I let the fan response get to me more than it should have. At the end of the day, we're hockey fans. Most of us are having fun. Most of the comments are still positive and constructive. So for those of you who are still engaging in good faith, I do appreciate that. For those of you who are new to the channel that were commenting, especially, there were a lot of Panthers fans last night. If I came across as combative, I'm going to apologize right now. Truly sorry for that. That's not how I usually am. Usually if I don't agree with comments, sometimes I just ignore them, or I'll say why I don't agree. I'm not going to pick out any specific people or comments today. I'm not going to, throw anyone under the bus. I'm not putting any individual up on the screen here. That's not what I'm about. But I will say, hopefully moving forward, we're able to, I guess, just calm down. Like, we'll just calm down. Everyone was at an 11 last night. Let's bring it down to like a 6 today. All right. Obviously, if I was in Florida Panthers fans' shoes last night, you're high on the win, but then you're emotional that you lose your captain. So I get that. I feel that, Panthers fans. So again, I apologize for maybe not engaging as well as I should have, as well as I could have. And, I allowed some trolls to get to me. Doesn't happen often. I'll try and make sure it doesn't happen moving forward. So that's all I wanted to say on the fan response, if that makes any kind of sense. So I'm kind of rambling about it. We'll move on now. We're going to mostly talk about the Oilers here. So if you are a fan of another team, or if you're a Panthers fan, the rest of this video is mostly centered on the Oilers. So, you can stay if you'd like. If you don't want to, that's also okay. Moving on here, the Oilers' depth. Clearly, depth is an issue, but it's not just depth right now. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, the Oilers have 1 goal in 2 games and no goals from a forward. Last night, 3 Oilers forwards were the only ones who got shots on goal for Edmonton. Other than the defense, but you know what I mean. I already said 3 Oilers forwards had shots on net last night, which means the other 9 had 0. One of them was kicked out of the game. And, Chris Knoblauch in game 1, he reinserted some guys in the lineup. Corey Perry was in there. Warren Foegele was reinserted into the lineup. And, he's trying to find something that's going to work here. The Oilers right now, they have guys that are cold. They have guys that have gone cold. Evander Kane has gone cold. Dylan Holloway's gone cold. Warren Foegele hasn't had a goal since an empty netter in game 1 against the LA Kings. Ryan McLeod, he has 1 goal. He scored a goal against Dallas. I think it was game 4. It was game 4 against Dallas. But he has 1 goal throughout the entire postseason. Adam Henrique, he's pretty cold right now. He hasn't done a whole lot. Carrick, he's doing nothing. Connor Brown, he had a good series against Dallas. It's tough to ask Connor Brown to continue to try and produce offense, whether it's goals and assists. Same with Janmark. He had a big shorthanded goal against Dallas. It's hard to ask guys like him to step up and score. Right now, the Oilers' main issue is Nugent Hopkins. 5-on-5 is absolutely useless. Does not contribute anything on offense. I don't remember the last 5-on-5 goal that Ryan Nugent Hopkins has scored. If somebody has that number for me, please let me know. Nugent Hopkins, I'm pretty sure, has been just producing on the power play. But I'd like to know what his 5-on-5 numbers are. McDavid, he's struggling right now. He's gone cold. Draisaitl's gone cold. Draisaitl at 5-on-5 especially has gone very, very cold here. Zach Hyman, he's gone cold. Like, this is the worst time of the year for players to go cold. And, you might have some fans being like, oh, well, that week off doesn't help. Well, the Florida Panthers had a week off too. Like, I'm not using time off as an excuse here. There's absolutely no way I'm allowing that to be an excuse. These are professional athletes. These are the best players on the Oilers. These are players that have time and time again stepped up and been able to produce for Edmonton. But they're top 6 right now. They're not getting the job done. And Chris Knoblauch, he's in a tough spot. Who do you rotate around in that top 6 to try and generate offense? I like Dylan Holloway's speed. I like his tenacity, and I think he has good offensive instincts, but he's still a rookie. And it's tough to ask him to play beside Leon Draisaitl and go up against the Barkov line or the Tkachuk line and produce regularly. Like, that's a tough ask for a kid like that. Warren Foegele, McLeod, like, who are you rotating up on that second line to play with Draisaitl? It's tough. It's a tough situation. You need someone to step up. It's the Stanley Cup Finals. Who's going to be the hero here? You want a hero who's going to step up. That's what I want to know. We'll see if the Oilers can start to generate some offense. We'll see if home ice gives them a bit of a boost, gives them a bit of a jump here. Hopefully it does. Obviously, if the Oilers go down 3-0, the series is done. Like, the series is pretty much done at 2-0. I'm not saying I'm giving up, but the statistics just show that, the series is probably done here. I think the stat is 49 times out of 54. 49 out of 54, you win the Stanley Cup if you're up 2-0. I think the last team to come back from an 0-2 deficit in the Cup Finals to win the thing was the Boston Bruins in 2011 against the Vancouver Canucks. So give me 1 second. My cat is howling at my door. I'm going to let him out. Back. Apologies. I'm not editing that out of the video, by the way. This is live to me. I just roll with it. So, depth needs to step up. The Oilers need to find a way to get through Bobrovsky. Now, Bobrovsky, the only goal he gave up last night was in his 5-hole, and that's the first goal he's given up through the 5-hole in the entire postseason. So, hey, at least the Oilers did something slightly positive in terms of the goal scoring department last night. Now, we talked about Bobrovsky just now. Let's talk about Stuart Skinner. There has been a lot of discourse around Stuart Skinner throughout the entire postseason. And the Stanley Cup Finals has been no different. Stuart Skinner is constantly under the scope. He's constantly under the microscope of Oilers fans, no matter how good he plays. Does not matter how good Stuart Skinner plays. If he gives up a goal that puts the Oilers down, that's it. Skinner sucks. He's the worst goalie. He's never going to win the cup. The Oilers are never going to win with Skinner. And I think last night was super unfair to Stuart Skinner from the fan base, from a certain section of the fan base, I should say. Did you want to save on the first goal? Yeah, probably. I didn't think it was a good goal to give up. Skinner wasn't properly cutting off the angle at the top of his crease. The second goal, he was too far back in his crease. Yes, the puck went off Ryan McLeod, but if Skinner was a little further out and if he doesn't go down as early as he did, maybe that puck hits him in the shoulder instead of going over the shoulder. Obviously, the second goal, you had that horrible giveaway by Bouchard. The Oilers had a couple chances to get the puck out of the zone before that goal went in. Like, I get it. There's a lot that goes on before a goal is scored. It's not just suddenly the puck is shot towards the goal and it's on Skinner. Skinner last night played so good in the first two periods. After 2 periods of play, the shots were 22-7 in favor of Florida. Stuart Skinner was the only reason why the game was even tied heading to the third period. He's the only reason why the Oilers even had a chance to possibly win the last 20 minutes and steal a game in Florida. So I'm not hanging that game on Stuart Skinner at all. The offense has given him 1 goal in 2 games. Game 1, you can argue Skinner, that first goal, maybe he didn't slide across quick enough. The second goal, he wasn't set. You had a bad defensive read by CC and Nurse that led to the puck coming out front. At the end of the day, Stuart Skinner he's giving the team a chance here. And it's super unfortunate that the offense has completely disappeared because, the fans, they're going to look at Skinner. They're going to look at, he has like an .898 save percentage in the series total. I think it's super unfair. The third goal last night, it was on the power play that Florida had after Draisaitl headshotted Barkov. And it was just a perfect play in front. There's nothing Skinner could do on that tip in front of the net. The Oilers had no defensive coverage there. I think hanging the game on Skinner last night is it's weak mentality. We want to have a scapegoat here. At the end of the day, you win and lose as a team. Skinner last night, he's the only reason why the Oilers even had a chance to win. Game 1, the Oilers played well enough to win, but they didn't score any goals. So I don't know what to say. Skinner gave up 2 goals in game 1. He gave up 3 goals last night. He's given up 5 goals in 2 games. That's 2.5 goals against per game. I don't know what the hell people want from Stuart Skinner. The Oilers are good at shot suppression, so obviously that save percentage looks a little lower. I had no issues with Stuart Skinner last night, and moving forward, all he has to do is give the team a chance to win. All Oilers fans have ever wanted is, hey, we need a goalie that just gives us a chance to win. 900 save percentage, 2.7 goals against or less per game, and we're golden. That's exactly what Stuart Skinner is giving us, and the team in front of him is not showing up. They're not putting the puck in the net. They're not supporting him in the crease right now, and the play in front of him too is very questionable at times. So. Stuart Skinner, I believe the Oilers can come back in the series. Skinner will be instrumental if the team does come back in the series. So For Stuart Skinner, I really hope that the team is able to rebound. I hope that he is able to continue to play well here. And, I won't say shut the haters up, because at the end of the day, people that hate on Stuart Skinner, they're not haters. Like, they're still fans of the team. I just think it's unfair to hang either of these games on Stuart Skinner, in my personal opinion. Next thing I want to talk about is the dead power play. Now, this can also be I could say, hey, penalty kill for Florida is amazing. Florida has the second best penalty kill in the entire postseason. They're behind the Edmonton Oilers only in penalty kill. The Oilers had 4 power plays last night. They generated 0 goals, and they had some opportunities to really assert themselves on the power play. They had opportunities to take leads in the game, extend. I think they had an opportunity to extend a lead when it was 1-0. They were unable to do it. It's a situation where the Oilers power play has been relied on so much throughout the season. It does produce a lot of the Oilers offense. A lot of their big guns get their points on the power play. And when the power play is not clicking, the team does not win. And this is where you get that narrative from fans of other teams being like, they're just power play merchants, completely ignoring the fact that most of their offense against Dallas came 5-on-5. Obviously, the last 2 games, they capitalized on 4 out of their last 5 power play opportunities to win game 5 and 6. But that's beside the point here. At the end of the day, the Oilers power play has not been good enough. Their power play could have been a difference maker in game 1 and game 2. It could have allowed them to stay in the game, maybe stay tied. Maybe one of these games gets to overtime. The team was unable to produce. And it's not only that it's not producing, Florida's penalty kill has been really good. They are getting in lanes. They are aggressive. They're pressuring puck carriers, and they're not allowing any type of cross ice play. And for some reason, the Oilers keep looking for that perfect play. Last night, they had a brief 6-on-3. They had the net pulled. They had a brief 6-on-3, and then it turned into a 6-on-4. So you basically have a 2-man advantage here, almost a 3-man advantage for about 10 seconds. And Florida, they're collapsing. They're going to take that lower middle of the ice away. They're going to have their sticks in the lane. You're not going to get that cross ice pass to Draisaitl. And I just cannot believe the amount of passes that Edmonton's trying to force right now. Instead of just throwing the puck on Bobrovsky, force him to make a save. Force Bobrovsky to make a save. Shoot it up high on him, or shoot it low and try and get a rebound. Have people crash the crease. This power play is not clicking at the worst time, and the power play needs to improve. If Edmonton has any hope and chance of coming back in this series, the power play has to start producing here. Florida, they've taken some penalties. The Oilers had opportunities to come back in this game last night. They were unable to do it. There was one particular power play. I think it was in the first period. It was in the first period or third period. I can't quite remember. But the puck came to McDavid. Now, he's being swarmed by 3 Panthers players up by the Panthers blue line. And McDavid was able to get the puck away from traffic and get it across the ice to Draisaitl in the right circle. Now, there was Draisaitl in the right circle. You had Nugent Hopkins on the back door, and then you had Zach Hyman below the dot to Draisaitl's right. So it's basically a 3-on-1 situation. Draisaitl decided to throw the puck across the ice towards Nugent Hopkins, who's on his off. Like, you're not going to get a good one-timer opportunity from that. And that drove me crazy, because the defender, all he had to do was just put his stick down on the ice in the lane and block that pass from making it to Nugent Hopkins. I was so mad on the live stream last night. I was so heated. I could not believe that Draisaitl made that decision. The power play needs to start making better decisions. They have to be quicker with puck movement, and they have to generate some shots on net. Did Bobrovsky make a couple big saves last night? Yes. Game 1, I thought the Oilers' power play actually looked really good, but Bobrovsky came up huge. The Oilers missed the net a couple times. They hit a post. It happens. Last night, the power play killed their momentum. Well, I don't even say momentum. The team never really had momentum in the game. Credit to the Florida Panthers penalty kill, though. Terrific penalty kill. Next thing we're going to talk about is the injury situation for the Oilers, because right now things don't look great on that front. I called out Evander Kane earlier for not producing anything, but we know Evander Kane is hurt, and he looks hurt. Game 6 against the Dallas Stars, I think he played 5 or 6 minutes total. After the first period, he only had 2 or 3 shifts total in that game. Evander Kane has been dealing with a core body injury, sports hernia, I think is what they called it before the playoffs started. He's been dealing with that, and you can tell. And I think Kane might be even dealing with more than just that, because he is so ineffective when he's out on the ice. So ineffective right now. It's really bad. But the big injury concern for me is Darnell Nurse. Last night, it looked like he hurt his hip. It looked like he went into the boards awkwardly, and his immediate reaction was his hips. And if you're an Oilers fan, you'll be very familiar. 2 years ago, he had a hip flexor injury in the playoffs in 2022. And with that injury, it really prevented Nurse from being mobile. He was not effective at all. And if this is a similar injury, if this is a similar injury to that one, and I don't want to speculate and say that it is. If it is his hips, and if it is similar, if it's a re-aggravation of that hip flexor, I mean, Nurse is going to be done here. He can dress and he can play, but there's no way. Like, he's already pretty ineffective when he's out on the ice. No offense to Darnell Nurse. He's had a really tough postseason. Maybe he was dealing with something before this hip injury. Maybe he's been dealing with a hip injury the whole time, and then last night was just like the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing. But that injury is not good, and the Oilers' defensive depth right now is already being stretched here. You have Broberg inserted into this lineup, and now if Nurse is really unable to go, Ekholm is your top pairing lefty. And then it's got to go to Broberg. Like, he's going to be playing top 4 minutes, and Paul Coffey's going to have to try and trust him. And the Oilers as a team, they're going to have to come together here and play very structured, very disciplined, very smart hockey if they want to have any success. Because if Nurse is out, you're going to have a defense group that has Ekholm, Bouchard, Broberg, Kulak, and then CC Desharnais. Like, that's not good. Like, that third pair, you have lots, like if it's CC Desharnais, like however they end up rolling the pairs, Kulak will probably stay on the third pair. So you'll go Broberg, CC, and then Kulak, Desharnais. And then you have Philip Kemp, who's just waiting in the wings. And Kemp, I believe, is a right D. Someone can correct me on that. I haven't seen Kemp play nearly enough. I didn't see him play at all in Bakersfield. So those of you who are more familiar with Kemp's play and his play in Bakersfield, let me know if he can play the left or right side. But the Oilers' injury situation, not good. Forward situation, you can tell guys are banged up, dealing with issues. Evander Kane especially, if they're hurt, they need to get out of the lineup, in my personal opinion. Evander Kane is just not doing much of anything right now. He's doing a lot of cardio. And listen, I don't want to blame a player for being hurt. Players play through injuries. I'm not using that as an excuse for these guys. But Evander Kane hasn't been effective for a while. And it's like as the playoffs have progressed, he's just gotten worse and worse at, making a difference on the ice. I will say, though, towards the end of the game last night, he decided to muck it up after whistle. Good job, Evander Kane. He decided to do some rough stuff when the game was out of reach and the game was over. You'd like to see that maybe a little bit earlier in the game with everything that was going on the ice up to that point. But hey, I don't know, man. Injury situation for Edmonton, not looking good. Florida Panthers injury situation. Barkov, we'll see if he's okay. I'm not sure if they have any other injuries. I know Ekblad briefly left the ice last night in the first period. He went down awkwardly with McDavid behind the Panthers net. It looked like a knee or leg issue. He limped off. He came back pretty quickly, but that's something to keep an eye on as well for the Florida Panthers. So we'll just move on from there. Now, keys for Game 3. I already touched on a lot of the keys. Improved power plays, smarter plays with the puck, better 5-on-5 shot generation. That's all obvious, but the main key for Game 3 is to just play relaxed, man. This is hockey. The Oilers look like they're out of their element right now. Mentally, they look like they're completely out of their element. The Florida Panthers are a team. They were here last year, and they lost in 5 games to Vegas, and Vegas pretty much wiped the floor with them in every area of the ice. So the Florida Panthers, they understand what the Oilers are feeling right now. Like, what the Oilers are feeling right now is what Florida felt last year against Vegas. So the Oilers right now, I think they just need to get back to their game. They need to slow things down and start, attacking off the rush through the neutral zone, try and get some speed through the neutral zone, work a cycle and throw junk on net and try and hit a body. Right now, Edmonton is just they're feeding into Florida's game. They're not focused on the hockey aspect. They're focused on the physical, try and maybe hurt someone aspect, and that's not the Oilers' game. They've completely been taken out of this series by the Panthers. They've been shut down. The Oilers' top guys have been shut down. Real effective defensive play from Florida. Florida is so disciplined in the neutral zone and in the defensive zone. Like, they are so hard to generate anything against. The Oilers' best opportunity was probably Game 1 when they scored 0 goals because Bobrovsky stood on his head. So for Edmonton, I guess the major key for Game 3 is just find a way. Find a way try and get some dirty goals, try and get a lucky break. I don't know. Like, and for the love of God, please just play disciplined. The Oilers are not playing disciplined right now. This is some of the most undisciplined hockey I've seen Edmonton play. It's pretty rare to see them get so caught up in this. There's no poise right now with these guys. They are just like on the biggest stage right now. They are starting to crumble a little bit, and I'm hoping Edmonton can come back in this series. Will they? I'm not sure. But that's pretty much it from me today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. This was a long one, so I do appreciate your patience. I do appreciate you tuning in. Showing all of your support all the time means the world to me. Like I mentioned, make sure you hit like on the video today if you liked it. Make sure you subscribe if you really like it. Of course, as always, tell someone that you love them. And for Oilers fans, the one reminder I always send out: fight like Ben, fight like a kid. There are so many bigger things out there in the world than hockey. It is okay to be upset that the team is down 0-2. It's okay to be upset at things that are happening on the ice, things that aren't happening on the ice. At the end of the day, though, this is a goofy, silly sport where players wear blades on their feet and they shovel a rubber disc around the ice. We're going to try not to get too worked up here. If Florida finds a way, it happens, right? I'm not saying that Florida's going to win the cup. I'm just saying the odds are in Florida's favor. This is Florida's cup to lose at this point now. The Oilers have to win 4 of their next 5. We'll see if they can do it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and we'll see you next time, Oil Country. Take care.